You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, Chef Anthony swings back by Studio K with his students. We're going to be making a salad with a delicious herb vinaigrette.
Blue sky and sunshine can be a little bit deceiving in the middle of April because we're in the midst of frost advisories. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a woman wanted on several felonies is arrested. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Pittsburgh police arrest a suspect who they say shot at 2 people. Authorities say on Sunday, 41-year-old Elijah Shedd was following the 2 victims on a motorcycle before pulling around them at the intersection of Jefferson and Elm. There, he allegedly fired 3 rounds at them before driving off. The victims drove to the area of George Nettles Elementary and called police. Officers found Shedd Tuesday and arrested him. He bonded out, but the arrest violated his parole from a previous conviction, so he was arrested again on Wednesday. Stone County, Missouri prosecutor refiles charges against 3 employees of the former Ride the Ducks company in Branson. A judge last week dismissed criminal charges against 3 men, Kenneth McKee, Curtis Lanham, and Charles Baltzell, who were being prosecuted after an accident involving duck boats on Table Rock Lake killed 17 people in 2018. McKee now faces 17 involuntary manslaughter charges and 12 endangering the welfare of a child, death of a child charges. Lanham and Baltzell each face 17 involuntary manslaughter charges. Back to Pittsburgh, where police also arrested a woman wanted on multiple felony warrants in 2 counties. We told you last week about Belinda Sue Cameron. She was wanted in Crawford and Bourbon counties for several charges, including aggravated endangering a child, aggravated robbery, and aggravated battery. Authorities Wednesday say tips from local residents led to her arrest at a home in the 300 block of West Forest in Pittsburgh. Pitt State hosted their annual Construction Expo for the first time in 2 years. Local construction and appliance businesses set up stations and booths, giving students the opportunity to get hands-on experience running machines, using tools, and networking. More than 100 students attended.
The whole idea was to bring industry and connect them with our students here at Pitt State, but also area high schools and area community colleges, so students can understand the level of technology that's taking place in the construction industry.
The expo was open to not just Pitt State students, but junior, college, and high school students as well. Also at Pitt State, PSU students minoring in dance presented the Dance Research Symposium in Performance at the Bicknell Center for the Arts. The performance was titled Transformations. Students say it's a proud moment for them to show what they've been taught.
Like one of our students is doing a presentation on dance and mental health because he noticed how experienced dance changed his attitude for that day because he couldn't focus on anything else when he was in a tap dance class. So I think that's pretty cool.
This was the 2nd annual Dance Research Symposium and Performance at Pitt State. Some local students helped out at a local nonprofit. The Cherryville, Kansas Middle and High School Student Councils traveled to Joplin to visit the Ronald McDonald House. While they were there, they donated aluminum pop tabs collected by students and learned about the charity's mission.
I hope they take away a sense of belongingness and just knowing that they can reach out and help others.
Students say they chose to work with the Ronald McDonald House when they learned that the charity has helped several families in need from Cherryville. Well, stop what you're doing. Take a look at these pictures. Yeah, we got a sweet little mountain lion cub. This little girl's name is Rose. She's only about 4 to 5 months old, but she's already a little fighter. As you can see, she's really skinny. She got to the Oakland Zoo in the nick of time. Rose was initially spotted by hikers in a preserve in San Mateo. They noticed she was all by herself. Looked unhealthy. It took some time for wildlife biologists to track her down, but they finally caught up to her and brought her in on Sunday, and it's a good thing they did. She's extremely emaciated. She was also dehydrated and covered in fleas and ticks. The folks at Oakland Zoo say she's got a feisty spirit and an obvious will to live, so they're guardedly optimistic that little Rose will blossom.
Are those not the most beautiful blue eyes on that cub right there?
I'm sure she'll get excellent care there too.
That is, I mean, even, and I understand she was being sedated and tended to right there. But yeah, those eyes are piercing blue. That's beautiful.
Sweet.
Glad to see that it's well taken care of. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was in the midst of reading a story about an interstellar meteor collision with Earth. And when you instructed me to stop what I was doing, I actually stopped reading that story, despite the fact that this is about a cub that's being taken care of and I was reading about a meteor. But yes, I listened to you.
I appreciate that.
The meteor was traveling.
That doesn't happen all the time, so I appreciate it.
It was traveling 37 miles a second. Put that, you folks up here on the stairs, imagine that, fathom that, 37 miles a second. That's scary.
Michael, I'm sure we'll update y'all on that meteor.
Yes, I will. I got to find a place to work it in. And now's not the time because I need to talk about frost advisories.
Yes.
Blue sky and sunshine, yet, yes, it is a chilly mid-April morning. 33 degrees is where we are over 7th and Rangeline, with a wind chill right now of only 26 degrees. Now, the problem is we lost all our cloud cover from yesterday. Yeah, I know it was kind of dreary with the rainfall and whatnot, but when we do lose the clouds, of course, we lose anything that is trapped in the ground heat-wise. And that is why we have frost advisories, not only for the counties in purple, but also too, the white, that's the new color that the National Weather Service calls a special weather statement. That's part of a frost advisory as well. Now, as we dip into northeast Oklahoma, you see that turquoise. That's an actual freeze warning lasting until 9. I do want to point out in McDonald County here, we've got a sliver of green. That is also a flood warning from the precipitation we've picked up since Sunday. That is specifically for the Big Sugar Creek in and around the Pineville area of McDonald County. Here's a look at our actual temperatures, not wind chills, actual temperatures. We're still as low as 29 in Neodesha and in Parsons, 36 in Neosho. Let's roll 32 in Miami and a pair of 35s for Fort Scott and Nevada. We factor in that north wind that's now coming in about 5 to 10 miles per hour and feeling like mid to high 20s. So definitely going to want to make sure kids not only have a little heavier coat, probably throw a hat on them as well. It's been a long time since we've been talking about temperatures that have dropped this low. But as this cold front has now progressed on the east side of the Mississippi, the nice thing is we finally slow down our thunderstorm and severe weather that has really plagued the continuous 48 for, say, the last 3-4 days. So everybody gets to take a little bit of a deep breath here, even with those scattered showers along the front, no longer the thunderstorm activity. Day planner for our April the 14th will eventually lift our temperatures up into the mid-60s with sunny skies. So like I said, once we get past 9 a.m., those frost advisories are a thing of the distant past. Coming up on Friday, a little scattered rain going to try to shoot through. It's going to work from west to east. At times, we'll see some bouts of some heavy rain involved with that. But one thing, it's not going to last too long. Like I said, this thing's got some speed behind it. It's going to jot right through. Then as we get into Friday night and Saturday, majority of the precipitation, it evolves along and south of I-44. As far as Sunday goes, the Easter Bunny may be planning some indoor Easter egg hunts. Kind of twofold here because number one, our temperature's going to be pretty cool there overnight, down into the 40s, but also too, remember, it's just going to be a little bit muddy out there with all the rain that we've had all week long. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're one step closer to seeing Chef Anthony back in studio with his marvelous students. You're not going to want to miss that. And I've got Health Watch for you coming up right after the break. More evidence that mood is linked to movement. And also, Americans are losing years of their lives. Michael George has today's top health stories.
A new study at Virginia Commonwealth University finds overall life expectancy in the U.S. decreased by more than 1.8 years between 2019 and 2020. Those numbers were even higher for Hispanic and non-Hispanic Black populations. Researchers say no other high-income country experienced a decrease rivaling that of the U.S. Changing the kinds of foods offered in shops, restaurants, and bars can lead to leaner, greener diets. Researchers in the UK found availability interventions, like swapping out sweets for fruit or nuts, or offering more vegetarian meals than meat selections, can lead to people making better food choices. And ward off the blues with a little workout. A study in JAMA Psychiatry looked at the dose-response relationship between physical activity and depression. Researchers found even lower levels of physical activity benefited mental health. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
As we take a live look over 7th and Rangeline, remember it's a cold one when you walk outside, 33 degrees right now, beautiful blue sky. And we are now about 26 minutes past sunrise. So let's begin a little bit of a warm up. We see a little bit of a bump there at Joplin Regional Airport. We're clear as can be. Remember, that's just residual picked up by our sweeping radar. We don't have to worry about any rain today. But if you go back to when the whole thing started on Sunday night, we're seeing pockets here in the orange and the red that indicate 3.5 to 4.5, almost 5 inches of rain. And I do want to reiterate that goes back all the way to Sunday night since we started. But that is also too why we have a flood warning for the Big Sugar Creek down in McDonald County in the Pineville area, lasting until this morning. I think that'll probably be expanded as well. I was looking at the Big Sugar hydrograph. It doesn't seem like it's going to go down too soon. Then in the turquoise throughout northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, we have the freeze warning. And remember, everybody else, whether it's the white or the purple, that indicates a frost advisory. But by the time we get to this afternoon, we're going to be pushing up to the mid-60s. Frost advisory, cooler weather, a thing of the past. Overnight lows in the 40s. A little scattered rain for Friday and Saturday, not looking at anything severe. But Sunday, we start to pick up some precipitation. It's already going to be muddy, and let's plan on having those Easter egg hunts inside. We're going to come back, Chef Anthony and his crew, along with Tanya in Studio K, right after this.
Welcome back, and class is in session, except this time around, I'm the student. Chef Anthony has left his culinary arts students in charge this morning, and they're going to be showing me how to make a pretty tasty salad this morning. Now, these are all students that will be competing tomorrow in a competition against Sparta High School, minus one student in the group that couldn't be here this morning, Dominic. Yes, that's my son. There's a picture of him. There's the whole group. And Topanga on the left there, we had her earlier this morning on the show with us. She's going to be assisting the chef's team as well. And the Pittsburgh team is going to go up against Sparta High School on Friday. They're going to be making an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert. And they'll also be competing against the chefs as well, which will be pretty exciting. This morning, though, I've got Calissa, Kirsten, and Dylan here to show me how to make a compost salad. And where do we get started?
So this is the citrus, the grapefruit, and I just kind of pour that in.
Okay, so we're going to be making the dressing, starting with the citrus, okay?
Yes. And then I like to start my honey next, and I just measure it out with a teaspoon.
Okay. It's a big old squish.
Yeah.
Okay, and while you're doing that, Kirsten and Dylan are cutting up the vegetables, and that's something that you guys are taught in class. I'm sure you spent a long time on proper knife skills and stuff,
Yes.
safety measures.
There's actually a whole class for that with the basic class. We usually teach that whole class.
The whole basic class.
Yeah. I took that my first semester.
Okay. All right, so you're a sophomore this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think you might continue on and take more classes?
Yeah, I'm taking culinary 2 next year.
Culinary too? Awesome. Awesome, that'll be fun. Okay, so all the produce that you guys have here this morning was donated, and for all of our segments here with Chef Anthony from Martinez Produce.
Yes.
And Simon Market is going to be donating the meat for tomorrow's competition, so that's pretty cool as well. Okay, so we've got our citrus, we've
Yes.
got our
Honey.
sweet, which is the honey you're using,
And then we're going to put in the blueberries.
blueberries.
Yes.
Okay. How many blueberries are you putting in for your dressing?
I'm gonna
Just
put
a
in
handful,
8.
Or? Ooh, specifically 8.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
An even number.
Is this a tried and true recipe that you've done?
Yes. We've tried it before.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put in 4 pinches of salt and then 4 pepper.
What do you consider a pinch of salt?
For me, I got smaller fingers, so 2 of these equal like 1 of a regular one.
Ah.
So 4 for this one, and like that would be like 2 really big pinches for like a regular person, like with bigger hands.
Like Chef Anthony, like
Yeah.
an adult?
Yes.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind when you're cooking with kids or something at home. A pinch for you isn't going to be the same as a pinch for your 8-year-old. So an 8-year-old might have a very large pinch, so be aware. Okay, so what do we have here?
This is the coarse pepper and the salt.
Okay, and so you did how many pinches of the salt?
I did 4 pinches of the salt and 3 of the pepper.
Okay. So we're putting that in our food processor. Kirsten, you've been slicing onions and cucumbers. Oh, we're getting some instruction on the side from Chef Anthony, something to add in. What are we adding here?
This is the vinegar oil.
Okay.
Olive oil. Vinegar.
Your olive oil.
Yes. We just kind of pour it in while it's cooking.
Has Chef Anthony talked about cooking with like benefits of, or differences of using vegetable oil versus olive oil?
Yes. So with vinegar oil, you get more like of a salty, like really salty, really strong taste. With this, you get more of like a kick, but it's less of a kick than a vinegar oil, but it's like more composed and stuff.
Okay. No, don't worry about that.
Okay. And then we just take this
All right,
off.
so is that it for the dressing, or do we have anything else to add to it?
That's it. I'm
That's
just
it?
gonna,
I'm gonna strain it.
yes. Thank you.
I can assist. Gives me some
Thank
purpose here.
you. I'm
Right,
just
all
gonna
right.
take that out.
All right, so we're getting mainly we got all those blueberry seeds out of there too.
Yep.
Okay, so we're not crunching with our dressing. Okay. Okay, are we putting this on the salad?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we're gonna be tossing it in the salad.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me move this out of the way so we can see what's going on here. It made quite a bit of dressing, but it's the perfect amount for like a dinner table size of salad, so.
Yes, ma'am. And yeah, I just kind of toss it in here.
Okay. So would you call this dressing like a blueberry vinaigrette type thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly that.
Ah, awesome. Made with fresh blueberries. I'm excited about that. Okay, so we've got our vegetables cut, and we've got our salad tossed and ready to go. I think this would be a good time to go to commercial break. We'll finish up a few preparations, and then we'll come back and finish putting our salad together. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Class is back in session after a short recess. Sorry, I had to do it. I've been waiting to say that. Okay, I'm joined here this morning with Calissa, Kirsten, and Dylan, 3 members of the PHS Culinary Arts cooking team, and along with the other 2 pictured there, Dominic and Topanga, and Chef Anthony, of course. They're going to be competing tomorrow against Sparta High School in a head-to-head cooking competition, making an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert as well. And today we're making an awesome salad. They're teaching me a way to make a vinaigrette dressing. We made one in our last segment with blueberry dressing. I'm excited to see what that tastes like. And we're gonna be layering the salad together. Now, a big part of cooking competitions deals with presentation, and that's something that Chef Anthony teaches his students, and they're gonna show me how to present this salad right now. Calissa, I'll let you get started.
Okay, so first we're just gonna kind of toss it a little more, even it up, and get it in the bowl. You want to make sure this is fluffy, so it's all even.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and use it all.
Kind of, as much as I can get, at least.
And I think we mentioned in our last segment, all these greens and produce are donated this morning by Martinez Produce. We appreciate them helping us out here,
Very colorful.
helping out. Oh, so what do we got here?
Now she's gonna lay out the cucumbers. We're
Okay.
going by color today, so we're gonna even out each color
Okay, so we've got our greens for our bottom layer. Okay, is there like too many, or like how do you decide how many of the cucumbers to put on there?
Well, we usually put like an even number, so it's like appealing to the eye.
Okay, and this would be considered probably a salad for 2 or just for 1, you think?
I would consider it a dinner salad for 1.
Okay. Now we're moving on to the carrots. What type of cut did you guys use on these carrots?
We did a julienne cut.
Julienne cut. Very good. Very good. And so we have blueberries in the dressing, but you're also putting blueberries on the salad as well.
Yes.
Okay.
It gives it like a little touch, a little extra.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with mixing fruits and veggies.
It's actually, it gives it more of a boost with the flavor, and just a little more bling or something.
Calissa, do you feel like your palate has grown since you've started taking classes
Definitely.
in the culinary arts department? Yeah?
Like before, I couldn't eat any kind of spicy things. Like I wasn't used to any spicy things, or like some flavors I wasn't like as common to. Chef Anthony kind of like talked us through it and showed us new like tastes and new things we can make.
Yes, I know. Chef Anthony has provided a lot of spice in his dishes here on the morning show. So, yeah, I'm well aware that he likes spice. Keeps trying to stump me, but I like spice too. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we've added some strawberries, and are these apples or pears that you cut up here?
These are apples.
Apples?
Apple slices. Yeah, they're almost like chip-sized.
Okay. What do we have next?
This is the onion, and we're just gonna do like a little pattern, little circular pattern.
Great. Oh, that looks good. Be almost ashamed to dig into this because then it's gonna take away from the beautiful product that you make, but that's the point of it, right?
You get to pick out what you want out of it, and just.
What kind of cheese are we using today?
We're gonna use marinara cheese.
Mozzarella. Mozzarella cheese?
Mozzarella, yeah. And there were actual pearls, but like we cut them into thirds.
Mozzarella cheese goes really good with marinara sauce.
That's why I said that.
Yes. And a little bit of coarse ground pepper on top there.
Yes.
Are we done? Oh, this is beautiful. Let's get a close up of this. Can't. There we go. Look at that presentation right there. I would say that's award winning, but there's only one way to find out.
Go ahead.
I don't know where to begin here. This will be good. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you guys, while I try to eat this and not make a mess, what you guys have done to prepare for tomorrow's competition.
Okay, so yesterday we met up in study hall, and we've been meeting up in study hall for most of the week. And we've been just like talking about and figuring out what taste we think would go good with the salad. So we all agreed on the blueberry because it just gives it a little bit of sweetness and a little bit more flavor. And the strawberries, well, they mix really well with the blueberries. And the apple, I'm surprised that worked out as well with the cucumbers, but the cucumbers don't have as much of a taste, so.
And good selection with the blueberry vinaigrette too. I can taste you said that was grapefruit at the beginning? So I can taste the grapefruit, citrus, I can taste the blueberry, just enough amount of sweetness, not too much, because you don't want your salad dressing to be too sweet, for sure. But yeah, it was a good combination. Congratulations, guys, you did wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. That's a wrap. You can find these 3 segments on our website later this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:33. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Pittsburgh police arrest a woman wanted on multiple felony warrants in 2 counties. We told you last week about Belinda Sue Cameron. She was wanted in Crawford and Bourbon counties for several charges, including aggravated endangering a child, aggravated robbery, and aggravated battery. Authorities Wednesday say tips from local residents led to her arrest at a home in the 300 block of West Forest in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh police arrest a suspect who they say shot at 2 people. Authorities say on Sunday, 41-year-old Elijah Shedd was following the 2 victims on a motorcycle before pulling around them at the intersection of Jefferson and Elm. There, he allegedly fired 3 rounds at them before driving off. The victims drove to the area of George Nettles Elementary and called police. Officers found Shedd Tuesday and arrested him. He bonded out, but the arrest violated his parole from a previous conviction, so he was arrested again on Wednesday. The battle over abortion rights continues, taking center stage in the national spotlight, with 2 states now taking 2 very different stances on the medical procedures. Kevin Cork has more on Oklahoma's new law banning nearly all abortions and why Michigan is fighting to make abortions a protected right.
Oklahoma Republican Governor Kevin Stitt signing a new law Tuesday banning all abortions in his state unless deemed necessary for medical emergencies. the controversial law set to go into effect this summer unless blocked by a court, and would result in abortion providers facing either a $100,000 fine, 10 years in jail, or both.
Oklahoma consistently has one of the worst maternal mortality rates in the country. He should be doing everything he can to prevent totally preventable pregnancy-related deaths.
Critics say the law poses serious implications for women in neighboring states as well. After Texas passed its near-total ban on abortions last year, Planned Parenthoods in Oklahoma reported a 2,500% increase in women from Texas going to the Sooner State for the procedure. But now that's all expected to end.
We want Oklahoma to be the most pro-life state in the country.
At the opposite end of the spectrum, Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer filed a lawsuit last week seeking to make abortion a, quote, protected right in Michigan's state constitution.
It is hard on our patients and for anyone who may need an abortion to not know if they could wake up tomorrow and not have access to health care.
Michigan is one of 8 states with an unenforced abortion ban. Governor Whitmer's lawsuit is a preemptive measure meant to protect access to abortions in case the Supreme Court ever overturns Roe v. Wade. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
The Allen County, Kansas airport will soon get to make some improvements thanks to a state grant. The Kansas Department of Commerce for Infrastructure Improvements is giving the airport nearly $3 million. The funds will be used to increase the capacity of utilities at the airport, including water, electric, broadband internet, and roads. Officials say they hope to improve the airport and add an industrial park surrounding it.
That way we're even more shovel ready and even closer to being a certified site for those industries that are attracted or in the state or attracted to the state. Says, hey, we need acreage near an airport, near a highway that's ready to go with utilities ready to be installed.
The county will provide a 25% match for the grant, totaling around $726,000. What better way to feel healthy than by heading to a state park? The George Washington Carver National Monument Park near Diamond, Missouri is participating in the National Wellness Challenge. Visitors are invited to participate in mental, learning, or physical wellness activities. And the Wellness Challenge kicks off next week during National Park Week. The park encourages you to bring a friend or pet to enjoy these activities.
I want to make sure and let everyone know that this Wellness Challenge is through the National Park Service Healthy Parks, Healthy People initiative, and we understand that there are unique opportunities within our national parks to just support good health.
The park has provided a National Service Wellness Challenge guide. You can find a link on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And as we told you yesterday, all national parks, you get in free on Saturday, the 16th. Saturday. All right, NASA's Hubble Space Telescope has located what scientists believe is the largest comet ever seen by astronomers. Estimated diameter of comet Bernadette-Bernstein is about 80 miles across, making it larger than the state of Rhode Island. That beats the previous record by 20 miles. Judging by its nucleus, it's about 50 times larger than an average comet and weighs an incredible 100,000 times more. Although it appears to be blue in color through the space telescope, scientists believe the surface is actually blacker than coal. Unfortunately, astronomers say the giant icy rock poses no risk to Earth.
That's a big old-fashioned fortunately right there.
So this...
Good night, Irene.
So no need to call Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis?
No, we're good. Well, remember, we lost a couple of them last time we sent them off.
Yeah. Okay, so this is not the meteor you were speaking about earlier.
Not. The meteor that I was talking about actually made impact with the Earth back in 2014, and now they're piecing together the data behind it. As far as its impact, this is completely different from what I was talking about.
But the exciting thing is that we have 2 outer space stories in one show, just for you, Michael.
But I mean, larger than a state of Rhode Island?
Yeah.
What in the world? It's crazy what's up there. All right, Tanya, it's a cold one. Make sure you bundle not only yourself up, but also the kiddos as well, as our temperatures right now ranging from No, I'm good. Oh. Ranging from 29 all the way up to about 34 degrees as far as what we're looking at this afternoon. Luckily, sunshine and into the 60s. Remember, Easter egg hunts probably best off inside on Sunday because of the mud and the cooler weather. Back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. We take this time to honor this morning's four-state hero, Albert Parrish Jr. He served in the United States Army, stationed in Germany, and a native of El Dorado Springs, Missouri. We salute you, this morning's four-state hero, Albert Parrish Jr. This morning on the KOAM News Now Instapoll and on our KOAM News Now Facebook page, mental health of children and teenagers. Nation's leading panel of medical specialists, it's called the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. It issued new guidance for doctors about the mental health of children and teens. Our specific question for you this morning, do you think kids and teens should be screened for mental health issues? And we've seen a complete flip from the way we started off. Right now, 80% saying yes, they should. Appreciate everybody's engagement each and every morning. KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. A Florida woman is thanking police after her car broke down because she was on her way to a huge job interview. In fact, one of the officers came to her rescue and then helped her land the job. Joe McClain with the story.
You got the job, yay!
That's Amber Battle, reuniting with JSO officer Sylvia Mitchell. The two first met on Monday when Battle says she was heading to a job interview at Noble Granite, an interview she had already had to reschedule once due to a family emergency. But then on Monday,
I was on my way here, and 3 minutes away, my engine blew up in the middle of the intersection. So I was steaming, smoking, couldn't get the car back started.
Battle said she called the company's manager, Nicole Lockett, to let her know the situation.
What were you feeling in that moment on the side of the road there?
I just felt really defeated. I was actually on the phone with my mom, and that's why I started crying.
That's when Officer Mitchell, a 19-year JSO veteran, just finishing her shift that day, pulled over to help.
So when I went to her car, I asked her, what's wrong? She said, my car went hot. I can't crank it up. She said, but I have an interview.
Officer Mitchell agreed to take Battle to her interview in the back of her patrol car and even vouch for Battle once they arrived.
Then the officer came in with her and she was like, hey, I need y'all to give this young lady a job.
I said, hey, she really needs this job. You got to give her the job. And y'all like, I don't believe she brought the police with her. We all just laughed and she was like, thank you so much, thank you so much. And it was just a moment for all of us. We all start crying.
Battle landed the job and says she credits Lockett and the AAA worker for accommodating her, but especially Officer Mitchell for coming through in her time of need.
It just made me feel like people cared, which you don't see that too often these days, especially with stranger to stranger.
Humanity's still alive, so I mean, it was awesome to me.
But we serve and protect. So my service was needed, and I did what I thought was right to help her.
Be right back with important information about your 401k when we return after the break.
Congress is taking action to help avoid a potential retirement crisis. A bill expected to reach President Joe Biden's desk later this year could bring about new rules involving 401k programs. Jen Sullivan has a closer look at how those changes could impact your retirement savings.
Here we are. Your retirement savings may be about to face a major and inevitable change.
Part of this overhaul is to actually force people into saving in their 401k plan.
The legislation, Secure Act 2.0, is expected to reach President Joe Biden's desk by the end of the year. If passed and signed, it could require most employer-sponsored retirement plans to enroll eligible workers automatically at a 3% level. That would increase by 1% until you're contributing 10% of your paycheck annually. But workers would have the option to opt out or change their contribution level.
Most people do not understand something called the pay yourself first rule. And that means put money in your retirement plan before you start spending money on things like entertainment and travel.
The plan would also delay mandatory withdrawals and limit penalties for those who fail to withdraw on time. The proposed act could also make it easier for those with student loans to save and for older workers to make catch-up contributions. It's also a major change for part-time workers who would be able to contribute to 401k plans for the first time. With pension plans nearly extinct and the Social Security Trust Fund facing a 75-year deficit, experts say 401k plans are more critical than ever.
The three-legged stool of retirement has basically turned into a pogo stick, and it's going to be on your back and your responsibility to save money.
The plan would also extend tax credits to small businesses for providing greater access to retirement plans for their workers. And it would create an online database for Americans to locate lost retirement funds. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Covering extreme weather gets a little interesting. Let's run up to North Dakota, where the state just got pounded with a historic blizzard. You've got many areas under a no travel advisory, and here we are in the middle of April. One couple who took being housebound and inspired by their newscast decided to come up with their own weather report. It is so classic that I got my main man Doug Hetty right here with me in the studio. Doug and I are going to give it to Judy Kurzman and Rhonda Gustafson, who bring us the blizzard story.
Hey everybody, coming live. Rhonda Gustafson, 6th Avenue Northwest here in Mandan, isn't a meteorologist. Crazy out here. But during this historic blizzard, she's decided to grab her hairbrush turned microphone and try her hand at weather reporting. Rhonda posted this video to her Facebook feed Tuesday evening. Be safe out there. We were watching the weather reports and we were saying, look at those poor weather people, they have to be outside. It's extremely dangerous out here, folks. Rhonda and her husband James have been home during this blizzard. Part of that time without internet. I'm not gonna deny it. We're weird. We just do strange things. While the blizzard is far from over, Rhonda's career as a weather reporter might be.
We at WGUS TV would like to apologize.
Her husband posted this video to his Facebook page.
I am here to inform you that Ms. Gustafson has been suspended.
I have been basically canned from my weather reporting. You know, we'll see where it goes. Maybe he'll hire me back.
WGUS TV.
It is, of course, all in good fun. Take it over to you again, Alan. Which is exactly what Rhonda says we all need right now. We don't get these major storms very often, so let's have fun while it's here.
I give her credit because she had a hat on. True story. I once got in trouble doing a live shot outside because I was reporting on it snowing, yet I did not have a hat or gloves. Therein lies she's smarter than me. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. The suspect in the New York subway shooting is scheduled to appear in court today. Frank James was arrested in Manhattan following a nearly 30-hour manhunt. Authorities say the 62-year-old alleged gunman shot 10 people on a Brooklyn subway using a 9mm handgun. An international organization says it has found credible evidence Russian forces deliberately violated human rights by targeting civilians in Ukraine. Meanwhile, satellite images show Russian forces amassing ahead of an expected offensive into eastern Ukraine. It's expected to be among the most intense fighting yet of the 7-week war. The recent rise in COVID-19 cases has prompted the federal government to extend the mask mandate on planes, trains, and buses for an additional 15 days to May 3rd. BA.2 Omicron subvariant is now responsible for the vast majority of new infections in the U.S. Let's check in with Michael with a final look at your forecast.
Tanya, we've still got several places in southeast Kansas that are below the 30-degree mark. It's going to take a while before we warm up, but the nice thing is afternoon rolls around, we're up into the mid-60s, and those colder temperatures and frost advisories, they become a distant memory. Now remember, as we transition into Friday, we are going to see a little rain sprint through, going to work in from west to east, and at times, it'll come down pretty good, but it's not going to be sustained not too long. As we push into Easter weekend, majority of our precipitation for Saturday and into Sunday staying right along and below I-44. So the farther south you are, the better off your plans of probably having the Easter egg hunts inside.
All right. Of course, you'll be in touch with the Easter Bunny to give him the latest.
They'll be there. The Easter Bunny's going to be there no matter what. We know that part. Just a matter of, are they behind the mailbox or are they under the kitchen table?
And of course, tune in tomorrow morning. We'll have the latest for sure.
Yes, we will.
All right. Well, if you've never been to Venice, here's one more reason to go. The Procuratia, the Kia in St. Mark's Square, is now open to the public. This marks the first time in history that's happened. The more than 600-year-old building's ground level has long housed popular cafes, but visitors are now allowed up to the 4th floor. 5-year renovation recently completed that created space for the exhibit called the World of Potential. It has interactive games and hands-on experiences that look at social skills via technology. And visitors are also now allowed on the 3rd floor, which hosts other exhibits.
Want to thank you all for letting us put the good in your morning. Back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.